So recently we had Andy McKee on the podcast, the great fingerstyle guitar player, and he was amazing. He was great. One of the things he told us, which really shocked us, was he does not like to play with other musicians, which is also hilarious because he just released a trio record with other guitar players. Um, Now, what I love is you guys have a viral clip together of you guys playing his arrangement of Africa. And what was so amazing about that clip was you, as great as you are, you have this amazing gift to make others around you play better. And I love it. And I'm so curious about your approach to jamming and playing with other people because you do such a good job of knowing when to step in the spotlight, but you also know when to pull back.
Yeah. Well, I can sum it up for you easily, Banner. A musician's job, his first job, is to be a listener. We listen to each other. Um, when Andy was touring with me, I so desperately wanted for us to play something together, but because he comes from that Don Ross school of of that style of playing with all the weird tunings and all that stuff. The people who play all that stuff are not jammers. You can't jam, you know. And so he said, "Oh, I play Africa," and I said, "Okay, play it for me." So he played it, and I could just barely hear the melody. Everything else was sounding good, but when he played the melody, it was like, "I hear the drums, they go in tonight," and it was like, gee. So that's what I thought. I should double the melody to get the melody out. That's all my instincts told me. And and then took a little drum solo thing in it, and then doubled it, bum 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 bum, like that, all that stuff. And I found a way of making it work. So at least we had one song we could play together. You know, Don Ross, bless his cotton socks, is a great guy, and he's a great musician. But we've never played one song together because there's not one song we can play together. Because if he plays one of his songs, first of all, there's no room for anyone else in it because he's got it all self-contained, and that's kind of how it works. So if I get someone up to play with me, I immediately try to make plenty of room for that person, and state the melody, and then let that person go, play and get back, and if you're playing with somebody, and say you're playing like a right, and you're playing the blues or something like that. When it's their solo, so I'm taking away all of that because you don't need it. That's where the soloist is going to be playing, right? So I just need to be muting the bass part, moving it around, playing through the changes, but keeping it out of the way of the other person. And that's what a proper accompanist should be doing, getting out of the way. There's a thing, people are so enthusiastic to play with you, and they 9 times out of 10, a guitar player who sits in and plays a tune with me usually plays all over me, and I'm like, and all it is youthful enthusiasm, but they're not really listening because they're like, holy shit, look where I am playing up here with this guy, and instead of like actually listening to what I'm doing. So a musician's first job, is to be a listener.
Is there anything a musician can do to get better at that?
Yeah, do it more. Get out and play with other players. You know, everything you do, you've got to have experience at it. You can't learn it at Berkeley. You can learn some of it, but you'll learn it on the job. That's where you'll learn it. So, get together with other players and jam and figure out, oh, if I play a lot less, I can hear this guy a lot better, or whatever. And the other thing is, a lot of people, they forget about being a timekeeper when you're the rhythm guy, and that's the first thing on my mind. Like I'm thinking like a drummer. It's like this is where it is. And if the guy, I can feel that he's pushing it, and he wants the tempo to go up, then I'll go up with him if that makes him happy. But other than that, this is where it is, and this is where it's staying. So you better get used to it.
I love it. I think I think what you said about listening is probably the most profound thing here, because it really is. That is the essential skill of being a musician, right? It's
It's
just
true. It's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter what instrument. I remember Eric Clapton saying that when he first had Steve Gadd on sessions, he said Steve would come in, he wouldn't go anywhere near the drums. He'd go into the control room and listen to the song. And he'd listen to it a few times, and he'd figure out what he was going to do. And then he would go out and play the song, and he'd usually get it in one or two takes because he listened first.